We always talk about love changing our minds, but what if I told you it actually physically rebuilds your brain? Today we're going to dive into some fascinating science that shows how connection isn't just a feeling, it's more like a biological renovation project. And this quote just gets right to the heart of it all. Love doesn't just feel healing, it literally rebuilds your neural architecture. Let that sink in. This isn't some nice poetic metaphor. We're talking about the feeling of deep connection physically changing the very structure of your brain.
So, how on earth is that possible? I mean, for centuries, we've thought of love in these poetic, almost magical terms. But it turns out new research is totally shifting that perspective, showing us that it's a deeply biological process of regeneration.
Okay, and this is where you really have to kind of shift your thinking. That sense of calm, that happiness you feel when you're in a secure, loving relationship, that isn't just a fleeting mood. It's the actual sensation of your brain actively repairing itself and growing. Wild, right?
So how does this all work? Well, think of your brain as a building that's maybe been through some wear and tear over the years. Secure Love is what brings in a specialized repair crew. So, let's meet the team, shall we?
First up on the crew, you've got neurogenesis. This is the actual birth of brand new brain cells. That feeling of safety and connection literally triggers the growth of new neurons, especially in the parts of the brain that handle things like memory and emotion.
Next on the job site is synaptogenesis. See, it's not enough to just have new brain cells, they have to be able to talk to each other, right? So this process builds and strengthens the connections, or the synapses, between them. It creates these really robust and efficient communication networks.
And finally, the renovation crew finishes up with myelination. This is like upgrading all the electrical wiring in the building. A fatty substance called myelin wraps around the neural pathways, and that allows information to travel way faster and more reliably. So your brain isn't just repaired, it's actually upgraded. It's running better than before.
And the most incredible part of all this is that it's not just a theory. We can actually see and measure these changes. This isn't some feel-good idea. It's backed by hard physical evidence.
Just look at the difference here. It's so stark. We know that trauma can literally cause the hippocampus, a key area for memory, to shrink. But Secure Love? It can actually reverse that damage, promoting new growth. At the same time, it strengthens the prefrontal cortex, which is basically your brain's command center for keeping your emotions in check.
Or, okay, take another concrete example, inflammation. We know that conditions like depression are tied to inflammation in the brain. But get this, the simple feeling of Secure Love can reduce those inflammation markers by up to 40%. That is a massive physical impact.
So if you've been in a healthy, loving environment and you've just felt yourself getting better, feeling stronger, listen to me. You are not imagining it. Your brain is literally putting in the work, and that healing is real and it is measurable.
So, how is all this incredible healing even possible? Well, it all comes down to a fundamental shift in what your nervous system decides to focus its energy on.
When we don't feel safe, our nervous system flips into defense mode. It's constantly on high alert, scanning for threats, a state of hypervigilance. All of its energy is spent on just surviving the next potential danger. But when you feel safe and loved, it switches into growth mode. The brain finally gets the memo that it's safe enough to redirect all those resources away from constant defense and toward long-term projects, like repairing old wounds.
Now, this next part is absolutely crucial. This incredibly powerful biological process, it is not just limited to romantic love. Not at all.
This neural renovation can be triggered by all kinds of genuine connection. The support you get from a deep friendship, that feeling of belonging in a community, the love of your family, and, yep, even the unconditional love from a pet. All of those things send the exact same "it's safe to heal now" signal to your brain.
Think about what that means. Every single time you share a real laugh with a friend, get a hug from a family member, or just feel truly seen by someone, you are giving your brain the green light. You're giving it the explicit permission it needs to start that healing and rebuilding process.
So the ultimate takeaway here is this. Love, in all of its amazing forms, isn't some luxury. It's not just a nice-to-have emotional bonus. It is a fundamental biological requirement for a healthy, functioning, and resilient brain. It's as essential as food and sleep. It really is.